If you're watching this video, you're about to make a whole lot of money. I'm about to give you the play. The secret behind my first 5-figure day and the top 2 lessons I learned that you can implement and immediately generate 5 figures or more.
My goal is to help coaches and entrepreneurs turn their mind into money, teaching them how to take what they know, package it, market it, sell it, and automate it to make a massive income and massive impact, even if they don't have a lot of followers on social media.
Welcome back to another episode of Monetize with Marcus podcast. I'm your host, family. You stuck with me. We in this together. Your monetization and marketing coach. Now, I think it's important that you understand the goal of this podcast, family. I want to help you turn your mind into money. I say it all the time, but what does that mean? I believe that all of us have information and knowledge about a particular subject. And I believe that that knowledge we can help someone else with. So the coaching industry, why I love it is I get a chance in my business to help people that help people. There are some of you who know how to do something, you just don't know how to market and get it in front of more people. So my job is to help you market and monetize it so you can now make more money and get in front of more people and help them, right? Because if you make money, what really happens is you free yourself up so you get an opportunity to do more of what you love and want to do, not just what you have to do. Right, so that's really what I'm after. And this podcast, every time I'm trying to tell you, I want to help you market and monetize. So in today's episode, I'm really excited, man. Let me just, before we jump in, just kick it with y'all and tell you, I'm in a good place. Mentally, emotionally, physically. Your boy down about 12 pounds. I'm talking about pants real loose. Real loose right now. You know, I went on a little 30-something day cleanse. I'm just trying to stay on the straight and narrow. But Popeye's chicken be calling my name like the Krispy Kreme hot sign. I'm talking about every day. I went to sleep last night and woke up here and love that chicken and Popeyes. But I think it's important, fam, like to just celebrate your wins, because what made me title this episode my first 5-figure day, I was thinking backwards. Right, my first 5-figure day was back in 2015. Yeah, it was back in 2015. It's at the time of this episode, I'm not sure when you're watching it, it's 2023. So it was a minute ago. But I was thinking backwards like, man, I always look, and I don't know if you're anything like me, and I'm really critical of myself. So I always look at what's wrong. I don't always visit backwards thinking about what did I get right. Right, so you always had those moments of regret and resentment. It's like, man, I should have done that. Man, what if I would have done this sooner? What if I was focused on YouTube sooner? What if I was more consistent? What if I was not dating Instagram exclusively and I would have been just in a committed relationship with YouTube? My life would have been better. Instagram broke my heart, had me out here posting every day to crickets. Like, you know, I joke, but I'm serious. So I think it's important to go backwards sometimes emotionally, mentally, and find out what did you do right? Right? Visit the past with what's the best way to word this? What if you visit the past with optimism? Where you don't go back with cynicism, thinking about, man, I should have done this. So it's not just a regret. It's you go back looking for lessons. You know what I'm saying? Like you're like, what's the lesson? What's the blessing? And then you visit the past. So I kind of did that I can't say I did it a long time. It was like 20-something minutes, 30 minutes. It was like 2, 3 in the morning. And I was just thinking about my first 5-figure day, like when it all started. That's really when it wasn't the money. It's when I believe it built a different level of belief in myself. Because I never made 5 figures in a month as an employee, right? So I just got to keep it all the way real. No job had ever paid me 5 figures in 1 month, and they shouldn't. I wasn't worth that. I'm just like, I didn't do enough work for them to pay me that kind of money. I worked hard, but like what I bought to the company was not equal to that amount of money. But what I bought to the space that I started my company was worth that amount of money, right? That's transparency. That's honesty to say, I couldn't have asked the job to give me what I was not worth. But in this space, oh, listen, I'm worth every penny, like every dime. So I want to give you, what happened and what did I do in my first 5-figure month? So we got to go all the way back. My journey started with a book. I wrote a book, and you can look this up. It's called Win the Day. My company is named Win the Day Marketing Group, right? So my first book was called Win the Day, Wintheday, Win the Day. 10 Strategies for a Winning Life. It's available on Amazon and several other places. Please go there versus my website because I'm not shipping no books no more. All right. So, Win the Day 10 Strategies for a Winning Life was my very first book. It was released in 2015. Now, that book, now I'm going to talk about more than one. I'm going to talk about my first 5 figures and like from that book, and then we'll talk about in coaching. All right. So, my book was $20. It was a $20 book. The way that I wrote the book, especially if you're in the space where you're trying to write a book, I wrote out the top 10 things I had learned from 2010 to 2014 or 2015, right? So October 10th, 2010, let's get to the board. I want y'all to see this really quick. Let me draw this up. Here's the strategy I have that I call Win the Day. Win the Day. Here's the concept of Win the Day. This is my whole premise and concept of my book. This changed my life. Like this right here changed my life. So what we did was we converted time into money. You follow me? We converted time into money. So every hour of the day, there's 24 hours in a day. So 24 hours. 24 hours in a day. We converted this now. Every hour was worth $100. You follow? So 24 hours in a day, every hour is worth $100. So very simple math. 100 times 24 equals $2,400 a day. You follow me? So we converted time into money. We always say time is money, but we spend time in ways we would never spend our money. So the goal was to mentally and emotionally for me to make a connection to time and money. So I started tracking how was I spending my money, AKA my time. Easiest way to do it. Some of you going to be facetious in the comments and say, I'm worth $1 million an hour, 1,000. Good luck with that math. You got to think too hard. This is just easy math. That's why I did $100. I'm not as smart as you are, so you go ahead. Yours is worth 10,000. Blessings to you, bro. Blessings to you, sis. You pursue your heart, queen. All right, so $100 an hour was the easiest math for me. So here's how I did it. I grew up, and I'm still, like my life is driven by faith. So I'm a strong believer of the principle of tithe. So the way that I thought of it is God gave me the 24 hours. That's what I believe. I believe that I don't wake myself up. My alarm clock don't wake myself up. My creator does. So that means if I've got 24 hours, AKA $2,400, the investor, which is God, gave me that. I'm going to invest back 10%. But here's what I promised God. This was October 10th, 2010. I'll never forget. I promised God October 10, 2010 that I would give him the tithe of my time every day into the area of purpose and gifting he gave me. You gave me talent, you gave me gift, and you gave me time. So I'm going to give you the tithe of the time into the gift you gave me. You follow me? Now, I know this ain't Bible study, but trust and believe. I just got to say this really quick. I truly believe that one of the most beautiful things that could ever happen, 2 questions that each person needs to answer or it nags them and makes it hard to be fulfilled. Why am I here and what am I gifted to do? If you don't ever find out the answer to them 2 questions, I believe that fulfillment comes in the answering of those questions, and I believe that our Creator has the answer to those, right? So back to this. 24 hours in a day, we converted time into money. So we took 24 hours, turned it into money, so every hour is worth $100. That's $100 times 24 hours equals $2,400. Now, here's where this equation gets really good. Y'all can still see this? Y'all good? Y'all good? Okay. So here's what we do. Now that we got the 2,400, 10% of that belongs to me. Now, I know you're going to be a stickler for math. It's not exact math, but it's close. We're going to just say $240 / 2 hours and 40 minutes. 2 hours and 40 minutes. Got it? $240 / 240 minutes. Now, this is where it gets really, really good. You got all of that stuff, cool. Or you can pause it and you can go backwards. Here's how I started. Much like writing a paycheck, because remember, most of us are working to earn money. I would pay to the order of, this is literally what I started doing back in 2010, to the order of blank. Now remember, the amount that I'm paying is $240. or 2 hours and 40 minutes. 40 minutes. What I put here is my area of focus. I'm cutting a check, the amount of time, to an area of life. Here's what I came up with. The gift that I discovered I had was communication. Pay to the order of communication. That's the area of focus. I owed that 2 hours and 40 minutes or $240 every day. Anything less than I lost the day. Hence, win the day. You get it now. So, what did I do in this time period? Now, we're going backwards to go forward so you can see how we got that first 5-figure day. Because I didn't want you to think we just woke up one morning and said, today's a money day. Go back to sleep. All right? So here's what we did. I used to get in front of the camera. We're going to pause here, and we'll come back to it. All right? So you got all of that. We converted time into money. Time into money. So every hour's worth $100. Whole day's worth $2,400. I paid to an area of focus 2 hours and 40 minutes or $240. So here's what I did. I would have index cards, and I would write words on the index card. And I would act as if I would be asked to speak and see if I can stand in the mirror. This would be early in the morning. I was still working at Florida State University, fam. So I don't want you to think this is like I got all day and I'm an entrepreneur. No, I was working at Florida State University when I came up with this. This was 2010. This is October 10, 2010. I quit Florida State University in December 2014, right? So I gave them a 6 months notice. I left December 2014. So this I'm doing while working. So don't take this and be like, that's easy for you. Don't use that excuse. 24 hours, 240. I've got to pause really quick before we get back into the episode to give you access to a free gift that I have for you. Well, chances are there's some knowledge that you know or service that you are already doing. And I tell people, if you are doing any service or have knowledge in your head, you should be able to automate that to generate revenue on the side, whether you're cutting hair. Well, while you're cutting hair, what if you could take the same knowledge and skill and automate that to show someone else how to do it? You generate revenue while also helping others. Well, I created a free training that literally shows you how to package your knowledge and your services into an automated online course. Well, now instead of giving someone access to your time or letting them take you out to coffee, you can give them access to your thoughts. Without your time, it generates money for you, but it also helps other people. So you can type www.monetizewithmarcus.com and you can get access to a free video training that shows you how to do it. Let's get back to the episode. So what I would do is wake up in the morning, and I didn't do the whole 2 hours and 40 minutes. I would do anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. What's 30 minutes? $50. What's an hour? $100, right? But I was actually logging it much like how you would log money. I had an Excel sheet, and I would literally go days and weeks, etc. And you know, with Excel sheets, you can set it up where it automatically calculates the numbers for you. So I was able to calculate the numbers each week to see how much I invested into communication. How much is my gift worth? That making sense for you? So here's what you're gonna do with this, fam. What you're gonna do, once you figure out what you're paying to the order of, and what I did, I would get in front of a camera, just like I'm doing now while filming this, and I would take the time, and I would take those index cards, I would write words on them and see if I can organize the actual content without pauses, us. So imagine I'm in the mirror. This legit happened. I would tell you the address, but some of my family live there right now, right? So you know I ain't capping. But I'm looking in the mirror, and let's just say I wrote down the word communication. What are 3 things I can talk about communication? And I would try to come up with introduction, points, and close in my head, like real condensed, straight to the point. I would watch the news and I would mute it and pretend I'm being interviewed to get used to communicating. You see what I'm doing? When at Florida State, I would take a lunch break, sometimes 11, 12 o'clock. I would do the same thing, but sometimes it wasn't just speaking, it was reading. Because I think clear communication comes from a clear mind. So I realized I needed to know more things. You can ask anybody that worked with me. Shout out to Tellis, that's my dude. Shout out to my brother who's working there, my aunt. Shout out to Bill. Shout out to Charlotte. Constance, these are real names, family, so you know I ain't capping. They would walk into, we had an auditorium at Florida State University, the Turnbull Center, right across from the Civic Center. Yeah. Why am I telling you this? People be lying on the internet about their story. They would walk in and catch me in the auditorium, in the dark, pretending I'm speaking on stage. I used to get in there and set up chairs. That thing set about 1,500 people. I didn't set up the whole 1,500. But I would set up chairs in the auditorium to pretend that I was speaking. This is long before I'm getting speaking engagements. That's how far back and how committed I was to it. So every day I started investing in this. Now I will bore you all the details, but literally if you listen to my communication, you don't hear a lot of redundancies. I eliminated those with 2 hours and 40 minutes a day. You don't hear ahs, nom sayings. Why? Because it's a distraction to the listener to keep hearing those things. Now, if you do that, I'm not saying anything, but this might not be you. I'm a communicator. So all of those things I felt like would make me a good communicator, I invested the time into that area. I paid to the order of communication 2 hours and 40 minutes every day. Anything less, I lost a day. Well, fam, not even a doctor go to school every day for over 8 years. Check this. This was October 10th, 2010, I made the commitment. The idea came to me September 10th of that same year. We are now in 2023, and I've never lost a day since. Not even a doctor go that long. So now the question has to be asked, when I made my first 5-figure day, how much was my gift worth? I didn't ask people to pay me what I didn't pay myself. What I was asking them is to pay me based on the investment I invested in myself. So I took communication and I wrote a book in 10 days. Win the day. Somebody like, how you write it in 10 days? Because I prepared for 4 years. You get what I'm saying? Now we go to my first 5-figure day. My first 5-figure day, I had written Win the Day, 10 Strategies for a Winning Life. I took 1 chapter a day and the 10 things I learned from 2010 to 2015 when I released the book. You get it now. I started with passion. That's the first chapter of the book. Well, excuse me, the precursor of the book or the introduction is titled Win the Day. Right? So I deal in that concept. Then it was passion. Then it was purpose. Then it was product. Each one is a P, and I outline each thing that was the foundation of it. Pursuit, priority, etc. And I outlined the 10 strategies for a winning life. When I released the book, shout out to Parks and Crump in Tallahassee, Florida. Attorneys y'all might know Crump, who represented several people in civil cases. This was in Tallahassee, Florida. They allowed me to have my book signing there in Tallahassee, Florida. That weekend, in 1 month's time, I sold 1,000 copies of a $20 book. That's $20,000, fam. 1,000 copies of a $20 book. Now, you might be asking how. Now, we did sell a whole lot of them at the book signing, a couple hundred. So we made some good money off of that. 4 figures-ish, right? But I went on to get in the car and drive from Tallahassee all the way down to Miami. I'm talking about everything from Sanford, Florida, Orlando, the outlets. My goal was to every day sell 5 to 10 copies of the book. I would pitch, but in a subtle way. I didn't have money like that. And then when you start making money, but you didn't really have none, you don't know how long it's going to last, so you hold on to it different. So you make like $5 grand, but you're not staying at no hotel because you're like, this $5 grand might have to last me all year long. Right? So you spend that thing totally different if you don't know when the next check is coming. So I would make money, but hold on to it. So I'm going each place. I had a Cadillac Escalade. So some days, you can lay the seat flat, put a little blanket back there, make it do what it do. That's just straight up. All right. So I'm traveling each place. I would go to Starbucks first thing in the morning because you got to go. Shout out to Starbucks. You get unlimited refills. Yeah, you get the refills and you can meet people. So I would go there and I would have conversations with people. Hey, are you a reader? And people don't mind them casual conversations. I'm not selling it. Yeah. What kind of books do you like to read? Person starts telling me, and I start talking about my book like it's somebody else's book. Yes, there's one book that talks about this, and this, and blah, blah. Really? What's the name of that? Oh, it's called Win the Day. Where is that found? Oh, I actually wrote it. Really? If I would have started with, I wrote a book, guess what they would have said? Oh, okay. And they would have pushed back. I would start a conversation. Conversation goes on. Tell them about it. Some people bought 1. Some people bought 2. Some 3. My goal every day was $100 a day. That's it. $100 a day, marketing and selling my book, fam. And it started catching momentum. Each person I took a picture with, I started sharing it online. I started meeting people, started talking about it. I had a chance to get on ABC, NBC, CBS. I pitched my own television segments about time management. We can get into all of that. But it was, I want to be honest. I don't want you to think like I landed on a 5-figure in a month lottery ticket. No. 4 years, 4.5, 5 years from 2010 to 2015, that book released in July of 2015. So you got to think 5 years of Win the Day, and I was still doing it even after the book release. You feel me? Plus a work ethic, and that, family, was how I had my first 5 figures. So the 2 lessons I learned in this is, number 1, You cannot ask someone to pay you what you're not willing to pay yourself. That's the greatest lesson I learned. That value alignment, when I valued me and I realized, man, my gift was worth 7 figures before I made 7 figures. $240 every day. And some days I did way over that, 500, 700, 800. I had days that I would use a vacation or sick day to sit at home and read and study. Like that, it started becoming an obsession where I was ready for it, right? So cannot ask someone to pay you what you're not willing to pay yourself. And the second lesson I learned, family, is that you have to embrace the process. Like, we always want things to happen faster than it's happening, but chances are we're not ready for it. And it's so much you learn in the process, and you will appreciate it even more when it happens. Hope you've gotten value out of this. Still this process of win the day. I should have worn my win the day jacket and hat today because I got a bunch of merchandise and everything on that. But that's the name of my company. And some would think my company name is The Mob. No, the Monetized Online Business Blueprint is our actual programs and our process. Our company, our educational company, education and business consulting company, is Win the Day. Because that concept changed my life forever. That I promise me and I promise God that every day I'll give the tithe of my time to the area of the gift he gave me. And I think you should do the same. We'd love to hear from you and see how this works for you. Pause it, rewind it, break it down. If it's worth it, let me work it, find out how. Okay. I'm out of here. This has been another episode of Monetize with Marcus. Holler at me on social media at Marcus Y. Rozier. No underscores, no double S. Tell them bots that I told you to leave you alone. All right. They're not me. I don't do 4X. All right. I will see you in the next episode. Until then, if you need me, I'll be over here minding my online business. See you in the next episode.